don't see your face around Vullaria often, and this city can be a tricky beast for newcomers. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Tyne Danbit, and I make my living helping folks like you find their footing. Before you waste your time getting lost, or worse, running into some unpleasant company, why not get a local to show you the ropes? I offer a full, personal guide to the city, the ins, the outs of local services and shops, the true meaning of Vullarian law, and the most important places of interest you won't find on your own. A simple gold piece secures my knowledge and my protection. It's a bargain for peace of mind. Thank you very much. A fine gold piece for a fine tour. Right then, let's get you acquainted with Vullaria. I promise to make it a memorable experience. All right, mate, let's talk about the pulse of Vullaria. You won't find a moment of quiet here. It's high energy from noon to moon. It's what keeps this place alive. Down at the docks, it's a mess of muscle and sweat. You got dock workers non-stop unloading wrought iron and charcoal. Those two materials, they're the real gold of Vullaria, feeding the forges. Every vessel comes to drop off dozens of green new recruits, too. Oh, and keep an eye out for the occasional paladin, the kind with their noses so high they trip over their fancy boots. They're no fun at all. Walk inland a bit and you'll hit the main event, that colossal city wall. It wraps around the whole place like a protective shell. It's not just big either. It's got a special slick face, deliberately designed to keep those nasty orcs from climbing up. It's the only reason we sleep at night, trust me. Once you pass through the gate, you notice the air. It's thick and dirty from all the forges running non-stop. That pounding noise, that's the sound of survival. Our blacksmiths are hammering out thousands of pieces of armor and swords. Every recruit needs that protection and the weapons to go with it. They get a slap on the shoulder and they're sent right out into the field. So that's Vullaria for you. The place never drops. You're either doing something to contribute to the war effort or you're getting out of the way. There's no room for anything else. Pull up a seat, friend. This bench is solid, which is more than I can say for most things outside the city's walls. Let's talk about the world beyond, starting with how you got here. You came through the Straits of Plinius, right? A sailor's nightmare. It's a narrow choke point littered with hull-wrecking boulders and shoals. Trust me, the name Plinius is easy to remember because there are plenty of ships that meet their end in that strait. Only the most experienced captains are even allowed to navigate merchant ships through there. It keeps Vullaria safe, but it makes trade expensive. Straight away from the coast, you'll find the ruins of Hun. Used to be a thriving city, but the Dragon Wars put an end to that. Now it's just broken columns, cracked domes, and a high probability of running into something unearthly. Look, I'm a man who's got his hands in many pockets. I mean, I run several legitimate businesses. Trade, assistance, labor, the works. I enjoy a challenge, but even with all the rumors of gold and treasure buried there, no, I'm not going to Hun. If you go north, you hit the elf city of Evandelith. They live completely different than we do, all trees and fancy magic. You should go. They'll trade with you and they'll talk to you, but absolutely you cannot stay the night. They kick you out before dark. Something about purity of the spirits or some other nonsense. We're good enough for the coin, but nothing else, it seems. Do they think they're better than us? Or are they just afraid we'll corrupt their perfect little lives? Past Evandelith, farther east is the big, beautiful forest, Brightwood. The elves actually guard it from the marauding orcs. The orcs want to destroy that sanctuary. It's home to fairies and other gentle folk. Why? Just because it exists, that's why. The forest has vital resources, but the orcs have already chewed up the section that used to stretch much farther south. Speaking of which, to the south of Brightwood is Dreadwood. This used to be part of Brightwood, but the orcs plundered and polluted it. The trees are dead, the soil reeks of decay, and now it's home to giant spiders and orc outposts. It's absolutely no place for a stroll, but I hear there's a massive variety of exotic mushrooms there, a true druid's dream if you survive long enough to pick them. Finally, if none of the spots catch your fancy, you could take a road south to Pocksmith. It used to be called Packsmith, but well, disease runs wild there like a pox, hence the name change. The whole city is notorious, full of scoundrels, liars, cheats, and worse. It's also frequently raised by orc shock troops. They steal the farmers' food and cattle and take prisoners for their own evil purposes. Still, if you're looking for action, they have fighting pits that draw a strange crowd of brawlers and betters. So, that's the local map. Which direction looks most profitable, interesting to you? Knowing the rules in Vullaria is the difference between having a bad day and having no day at all. They call Vullaria the tip of the spear in the war against chaos. And that, my friend, is the only thing that matters here. If you interfere with that spear, meaning if you slow down the production of armor and weapons, mess with soldiers, or cause a general disruption that could impede the war effort, things are going to turn ugly for you real fast. Now, I'm not a legal expert, but I've seen enough to know the score. If someone starts a big disturbance, say in a tavern, they don't get a talking to. They get dragged out and beaten by guards right there in the street. It's an example for everyone else. It says, don't be that idiot. Now, if it's just a couple of fists thrown, no big deal. The guards usually look the other way. But if you damage a merchant shop, if you genuinely mess up property or production, that's different. People have been banished. They've been tossed outside the main gate right at nightfall. And with all the orcs crawling all over the plains after dark, everyone knows what happens to those poor souls. It's not a mystery, and it's certainly not good. The end result is, order here is generally pretty solid. If trouble does crop up, the system straightens itself out again in a hurry. Time to lay out the landmarks of Vullaria. These are the places that matter, the places where you could gear up, lay low, or spend hard-earned coin. Here's the grand tour of the city. If you're going to survive in this place, you got to be ready to fight, and these two spots are where you get all the goods. First, there's On Defense, which is actually the name of the weaponsmith. They sell every fighting tool you could think of: swords, mauls, hammers, flails. These aren't just cheap iron either. They meticulously mix and fold metal, making blades strong enough to handle powerful strikes on armor and bone. If you like keeping a safe distance, they also have all the spears and polearms you could want. But a good weapon is useless without defense. That's where the Gauntlet comes in. It's the best armory in the whole city. They boast of the strongest plate mail in the eastern lands. Now, if you're like me and you prefer to be fast, they also carry lighter defense: chain mail, ring mail, scale mail, and leather mail. They have every helmet imaginable too. Open ones, closed ones, even ones with plumes, if you're feeling fancy. While you're there, grab a shield, big or small. All right, enough war talk. Let's talk about where we eat, drink, and sleep. We've got a few different flavors of tavern in this city. Walk in here and you'll immediately know this place. Trolls and Tree Walkers. It's old. It's got a large open area with small tables packed in tight. The floors are sticky with dried ale, and the whole place smells like a brewery that hasn't been cleaned since the last Dragon War. Behind the bar, there's a piece of wood with a plaque reading Bark Beard Tree Walker, And then next to it, we have a massive troll tooth. Clearly, this place has stories. The food is heavy, built for dock workers. They do a strong tasting sea catfish, a bottom feeder from the Gulf of Oros, and a sausage dish, either pork, beef, chicken, or mixed, served with a simple boiled potato. To drink, there's golden mead, which is sweet honey with a peck of cloves, or the heavier iron ale, which has mint and milkweed, the local stuff, in it. The rooms, they're tiny, honestly. You get a medium bed, chest with blankets, and a chamber pot. For a silver piece a day, it keeps you dry. Just remember, it's normal to get paired up with a complete stranger. Great way to get to know someone, eh? This place, Night Owl Bar, is different. It's a dark room designed for quiet deals. Small tables are scattered around, and booths line the walls with pull curtains for total privacy. The bar itself is long, running opposite the entrance. If you need to make a shady transaction or meet with certain associates, this is where you go. Naturally, it's full of shady characters. They specialize in strong drink. You got night mead. It's a bitter honey drink, and owl ale, which is dark and heavy. But my favorite is shade. It's slightly thick, made with molasses, and you better be careful because it's got a seriously high alcohol content. The name It's a Steel Tavern is clever. It refers to all the steel being forged here, but also to the dirty deals that keep the city running. The walls are covered in battle-worn blades and armor that they've fixed right to the stone. The owner is Poynton Silversmith, a gray-haired gent who used to make fortune on jewelry, but now prefers the excitement of running a tavern. He's curious. He asks a ton of questions, so be careful what you tell him. For food, try goose meat. It's pan-fried goose meat cooked with honey and fermented fennel cabbage. Yeah, it's a tad gamey, but it's good. Their signature drinks are famous. Steal the Night is a light ale with moderate alcohol. It won't spoil a soldier's fight the next day. Then there's the centerpiece, Orc's Blood. It's a tangy red wine with secret ingredients. When they serve it, they always bellow, "May you spill orc blood so that we may fill more goblets to drink." It's quite the spectacle. If you need a clean spot, this is it. Properly Tavern is exactly what it sounds like. Immaculate. The owner is Becca Tavernus, a descendant of the great Tavernus family, who are famous in the realm. Her ancestor, Ancrus Tavernus, was a big deal during the age of Salamundi. Becca herself is extremely hospitable. They have two famous dishes. Their chicken soup is legendary, made with wings, legs, and breasts, plus corned beans and carrots. Locals swear it accelerates the healing process. The other is chicken puffs, a local delicacy. Two pastries, each with half a chicken thigh, herbs, and fats. For drinks, try Meadow Dew, a golden mead with wild meadow plants that makes you feel less anxious and a bit drowsy. Or Proper Gale, a strong ale with an ingredient from a local shrub that also supposedly accelerates healing, but it'll make your head spin. Where do we get all the materials for these tasty things? Besides getting supplies and foods from merchant ships that come all the way from Sesamar City, we grow much of our own foods in a protected region north of Vullaria. It's on the peninsula right by the Straits of Plinius, fortunately where the orcs cannot roam. That covers the most important spots. Which of those taverns sounds like the best place to start our tour?
Make sure to like and subscribe to this video by GigaGod Productions. More videos will be created and shared very soon.